Okay, hello. This is Andrew for True Life Humanity. Um, Doing a reading here today on the energies of the day. I do these typically in private, but felt really called to this one today, so we're going to see what's going on. It's not specific for any signs or anything like that, but I am going to look at some astrology transits as well as what we have going on. So this is a general energy reading for Saturday, April 4th, 2026. I have a Starseed Oracle deck. I have the Sacred Creators Oracle deck, and I have a True Heart Intuitive Tarot deck. So we'll pull from each one. See what we got. Now, True Life Humanity is the platform, the idea that we are all creators and that we have the ability to not only create as in art and be creative and imagine, but with that ability to imagine, we actually have the ability to shape the world in which we live. And that's what the artist does. So, with that, I'm going to start with the Sacred Creators deck. Let's pull a card from here. We got number 61, Cozy Up with a Risk. Okay, we're going to let that sit for a little bit. Let's pull a little Starseed Oracle. And pull from the middle here. That's what I'm feeling called to do. Wait. It's not yet time. Things are being woven. Okay. Let's tie this this theme together with a tarot card. We got the Wheel of Fortune upright. Okay, so, cozying up with risk, get friendly with risk. Anything you do, I feel like there's a leap we're needing to take. But not quite yet. And you can never be super certain with risk, right? That's the nature of risk itself, is that there's a lack of certainty there. But now is not the time. You can feel it's not the time. Why? Why is it not the time? Well, let's see what else we can see why it's not the time. You don't quite have the proper insight yet. Yeah, you haven't done the inner work yet. You can feel the vision, you can see it, but you're still looking outside yourself. Ultimately, it needs to come from within. And you need to be able to embody what you want to see next before it can come. So if you try to take action, it's like putting the cart before the horse, where you're not going to get anywhere. Or it's going to be an uphill battle that's ultimately going to fail. So wait. It may seem, sometimes waiting may seem like the risk because you feel so non-complacent where you're at, because you feel like you resonate with this dream that you have so much more. But I'll tell you, that's not the case. You know, you'll never get the thing you're wanting by being discontent where you're at. You need to find contentment where you're at. And if it helps to make a list, like, go back to the fundamentals, make a gratitude list. Make a list of things that are in your life now that you dreamed about having 5 years ago. Because I guarantee you there's at least one. So, yeah, this next step is going to take, it's going to feel risky, but it's also not the time. Let's get some clarification on that with the Creator deck. Thank you. Okay, this one is reversed. This says, welcome the Divine Masculine. Okay, that's interesting that it's reversed too, because I think, I feel like, you know, maybe the masculine energy is not what you're needing right now. The waiting is the feminine. The waiting, the openness, the focusing inward on your feelings, on the feelings that you have, on embodying what's coming next. It's like a pregnancy. You know, the thing that you are birthing can't be rushed, because if it's born prematurely, it's going to take a lot more work to maintain, and it might not even make it. So you need to wait. You don't need that divine masculine energy that says, like, oh, if you want anything done, you got to get it done. You got to just do it. No, relax. Take a step back. Remind yourself that that's not how flowers grow, right? That's not how beauty of nature flourishes. It's not by force. It's gentle. The force of nature is destruction. And there's a time and place for that. Now is not the time for you to have that. More here. You're not alone. Isolation, physical connection, and community. This is comes back to, like, if you're discontent where you're at, you're not going to get to the next best thing. Like, look at the connections that you have where you're at. Look at the people in your life that truly care about you, that are there for you, you know, and the people that you care about, that you genuinely see and love. You know, that's strengthen those connections, because in the next phase of your life, connections are going to be just as important as they ever were. But you got to remind yourself that this is not just you evolving. This is us collectively evolving together. And the people in your life are not just going to fall away. There might be a few people, but you know those people. The people on the outskirts that don't really play a big role, you can care about them, but don't get attached to them, because the people that don't play a role are going to fall away. And more importantly, the people that you don't play a big role in their lives, you guys will naturally drift apart. It's not that they'll fall away from you, it's that you guys will drift apart. I'm going to do one more card to do 3 of each, kind of round it out. The edge of evolution feels messy. Well, that kind of explains itself. Ooh, this is good. Your life is a canvas. Artist, manifestation, creative accountability. Now that's an interesting thing. So the edge of evolution feels messy. So I'm seeing, like, an artist in a workshop, in a studio, paint splattered everywhere. You know, it doesn't matter. It's messy, but you know what's coming of this is something new, something something very exciting, something that you've imagined for a long time, and it's shaping up. And it's like we can't get stuck on the details of like, this is the way I want it to be or I want it to look. The feeling. Focus on the feeling of what is coming, and then allow it to form. Allow it to be what it wants to be. It all has consciousness. You know, it's like, get your ego out of the way. Allow it to come through you, because art is channeled. Real art comes through the human, comes from the soul through. And then your life is a canvas, and it's not just about the certain creative endeavor that you may be doing or something that you're trying to quote unquote manifest. It's your life. It is who you are becoming in the process, and the ultimate creation is who you become, because your fruits, your products will reflect who you become. Let's take a look at the transits. I'll try to figure out how to show this on screen. Okay, and then I can overlay this hopefully a little later. Let's refresh this to right now. Okay, so what we got going on here. There's lots of trines and 6 aspects going on in the zodiac right now. I want to sip of coffee. But of course, it's Aries season. We got our sun in Aries. So it's Aries season is fiery. It's springtime. It's moving forward, full steam ahead, and this is in the 12th house right now, which is the house of like subconscious and unconscious. This is where spirituality lives. So we are full steam ahead going into our evolution, going within ourselves to really decide what we want to create next. What's interesting too is that along with the sun here, we have Chiron in Aries in the 12th house, where Chiron is the wounded healer, right? So it's like me, I have been trying to do these videos for a long time, with the intention of helping others and putting something quote unquote out there. But when it comes down to it, I'm really just doing it for myself. I'm really just recording this to get practice saying these things out loud and channeling my intuition. And I'd encourage you to do the same. So whether this gets uploaded to YouTube or TikTok or anything is rather irrelevant. There's a tendency to want to give to others the thing that that you need yourself, So this is a good time to look into yourself and think like, okay, what do I need? And this is in the 12th house, So pay attention to what you think. If you may be on this high horse that this week or whatever, that you feel like you're drawn to helping people spiritually. I would take a second guess at that for right now. You have to remember that everybody is on their path. And when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. You don't need to do outreach. This isn't evangelism. This is growth. Real spiritual growth. And everybody is the same quote unquote worthiness, the same godliness that you are. They can get their intuition, they can access their intuition, they can have downloads, they can channel. Everybody can do this, The people that really benefit from you will find you. So doing the outreach takes you away from yourself in your own personal journey. it is important to remember this is fundamentally about you. Anyway, also in the 12th house, what we have going on is Saturn in Aries, which is pretty cool because it's also, as much as we want to go full steam ahead into the subconscious, into like sharing that part of ourself, Saturn is the great reminder that like you need structure, you need discipline, you need some kind of a plan with what you're doing. It can't just be willy-nilly because nothing gets accomplished. Yeah, I guess we'll move down the houses a little bit. So in the 11th house, we got Neptune in Aries, Mars in Pisces, Mercury in Pisces, North Node in Pisces. So, I need a bit of a reminder here about what the houses are. So the 11th house is truly like personal liberation, bridging your inner world and our outer world. And with Pisces, there's an unconscious. Pisces swims in the depths. And what's interesting is Neptune rules Pisces, and right now Neptune's in Aries in the 11th house. So this is like, hey, lean into your intuition, lean into your spirituality, really take seriously your growth. Now, Mars here in Pisces, Mars is not comfortable in Pisces because Pisces is so wishy-washy. But again, like, as Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, Mars there, it's kind of flip-flopped from Neptune and Aries because Neptune could be in Pisces and feel right at home, and Mars can be in Aries and feel right at home. But they're kind of flip-flopped. We got Mars in Pisces and Neptune in Aries, and it's telling you the same thing. It's like, move forward with your intuition, dive into that, dive into your growth. And the Mercury right next to it, just a few degrees away, is saying like, hey, it's time to communicate this. Communicate and share how you are finding your own personal liberation. And it's freedom, it's transcendence. And the North Node there, that's your direction. This is the universe telling us, without a doubt, this is the direction you want to go for your growth, for your personal liberation. We all seek that. And there it is. It's telling you which way to go. Go within yourself. Dive into if you've always thought maybe you're intuitive, everybody is, but if you've felt the call to develop your intuitive gifts, now's the time. I very logical person. I study computer science, but I am feeling the pull in the last couple of weeks like, hey, go back to this. Go back to your intuition. Go back to channeling. I took a channeling course. It's the time. Like, that's moving forward. Our world needs to be run by the healers, by the intuitives, by the loving beings of compassion and insight. So like the leadership of our world, it looks one way upon the world stage, it's fine, but truly we're the leaders of our own lives. And it doesn't matter who's holding the office. It doesn't matter which party dominates. It doesn't matter because we still have the power to lead our lives and shape our bubbles of reality and come together and do that with others. Yeah, moving on. Pluto and Aquarius in the 10th house. So the 10th house is ruled by Capricorn. It's career, it's ambition, it's social status. Pluto is the planet of transformation, and taboo. So like this is really like thinking outside the box, and then Aquarius is like the higher knowledge. So this is channeling our spirituality. This is thinking outside the box, This is allowing a transformation to occur in our lives. Because what comes next, and Pluto's going to be in Aquarius for a while. Let's see. Yeah, a year from now, it's only moved 1 degree. So I think I don't know. I don't remember specifically how long the planets are in orbit, how long an orbit is, but yeah, this is geocentric either way. So, but either way, so like Pluto being in Aquarius in the 10th house, we're redefining what it means to be successful in a career, to the careers of the future will be linked to intuition, to spirituality, because that is an integral part of being human. For so long, the corporate, quote unquote, corporate world ignored intuition, but so much of that is intuition. And actually, if you listen to the people who were the most successful in the corporate world, like the CEOs, the innovators, the people that built big companies, they were creative. They followed their gut. They made illogical choices because they trusted their gut and trusted their intuition. That is going to be what shapes our future. Truly. And we just need those people at the top to care more about the planet, to care more about the resource allocation. But that's what the next generation is going to be for. We have that in our hearts to do. So, a big transformation going on. Pluto's going to be here for a while. This is a transformation that takes, decades or more. Moving down one of the faster bodies, we got the moon in Virgo. Yeah, this is taking emotional stock of things. I think we just had a full moon a couple days ago. But this is taking emotional stock of ourselves within. It's in the 6th house, which is ruled by Virgo too. Health and physiology. Are we really taking care of ourselves? It's important. We need to take care of ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, the whole nine. Oh wait, is that Scorpio? Sorry. Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius. Yeah, okay. Take that back. So there's still an element of that, but let's look at this a whole different way. So the moon here is in Scorpio, in the 6th house, which is ruled by Virgo, 6th house of health and physiology. And Scorpio is the fixed water sign, so it's diving deep, It's checking our health, our emotional well-being on a deep level. It's time, if there's anything we've held on to, it is time to transform. It is time to take stock within ourselves, release the things that are heavy, that are discordant within us, and create harmony within us. It is actually very important on a global scale that we all do this, because this is what brings in the age of Aquarius, the age of harmony. And again, these are hugely gradual changes. And we see them manifested very gradually. The changes in ourselves, sometimes they occur instantaneously. Sometimes it takes a lot of work for us to find the thing, and say we're going to release that. That doesn't serve us in our future anymore. We're going to move on from that. And then guess what? It's going to come back up. You got to continue to make that choice. It's a continual choice, not a one-time choice. Okay. So, obviously the moon moves really fast, so this is not like this is the energy of this moment, right now, April 4th, about 9 a.m. Eastern. So, Yeah, you got your south node, and if the north node is where you're going, the south node is where you came from. Looking back, you got south node in Virgo. Actually, Virgo this time, not Scorpio. Like I mistakenly said before. But, Virgo, and then that's in our fifth house, the house of pleasure and enjoyable activities. We've shaped our lives around pleasure and the things we enjoy. And while doing things we enjoy is important, being spiritual and growing is not going to be comfortable. And sometimes the enjoyment, we mistake comfort for enjoyment. So this is moving away from like the comfort, the stagnancy of that. We've kind of shaped our lives meticulously around the things we like. I like this, so I'm doing this, Well, that's fine if you're not stepping up to do your job. Like, you can do that at work all the time. Like, you use the analogy of work. You can do that, but if you're not doing your job, you're going to get fired. Sure, shape it, make it your own, do the things you like that make you feel good, but you need to do the work. If you're not doing your job, you're out, essentially. Cool. We got Jupiter in Cancer. I love Jupiter. I love Cancer. I'm a Cancer myself. This is family relationships in the third house. This is brotherly, sisterly energy. It might be actual brothers and sisters. It might be people that you're building a familial bond with. But like Jupiter's so expansive that like my intuition is telling me right now, like, hey, this is like my brother, my sister energy, that like on a global scale, we are all brothers and sisters and children of the same source. Jupiter being in Cancer though, it's like just getting there, I believe. So a year from now, Jupiter's in Leo. Let's see when Jupiter moves out of Cancer. Jupiter's in Cancer for a while. Yeah, Jupiter moves into Leo in a couple months. In the summer. Yeah, right in July. 4th of July, actually. So we'll chat about that at that time, but Jupiter and Cancer, yeah, we're building family bonds. We're building that relationship. Yeah, making our way back around the dial here. Uranus and Taurus, man. I love Uranus and I love Taurus, dude. Taurus is so about material possessions, about the things I like. I always think of like my favorite things from The Sound of Music. That's Taurus. Raindrops and roses and whiskers on kittens. I love those things. Those are my favorite things. That's Taurus. Uranus is like the uniqueness of the self, but Uranus is also, I take, let's take a look at my notes here. Uranus, I always think of it as like the weirdness. Uranus is the uniqueness of the self, but like your quirks, Let's see. Uranus, some of my notes here, the Uranus brings the uniqueness of things together. It deals with the gods and how to reach the heavens. So this is like spiritual ascension, spiritual growth. I want an interesting tidbit about Uranus. It takes about 84 to 86 years to go around the sun. Earth years, that is. That's why around age 40 or 42 we have a midlife crisis, where Uranus is exactly halfway around from where we were born. But Uranus wants to teach us to express ourselves more. And it rules the big picture. So Uranus, the big picture. Uranus and Taurus. So like it's we are moving into an Earth in the next 80 years, 60 to 80 years, that expresses and is reflective more of the human soul. There's a lot of fear mongering going on in politics. I don't buy it. I think, yeah, it's a microcosm of like a very hyper focused microscope of what's going on, but Uranus in Taurus, we're reaching our idea of gods, of deities, and we're moving into that in a way that like we all feel drawn to. Uranus embraces the uniqueness. It embraces the different types of religion and God. With the exception that like if you're not allowing others to have their expression, you can't do that. You need to allow others. You can have yours, but allow others to have theirs. And this is truly like the age of Aquarius, where it's an understanding. You know, we need to understand each other. We need to have harmony. I think I started with Chiron on the Sun, but I'm moving around. There's the last one is Venus here. We have Venus in Taurus too. We're falling in love again with our life. And then Uranus and Venus being in Taurus, 12th house, which is like feminine, the subconscious, spirituality. It can also be like things that imprison us, like drugs, escapism, addiction. But and it's positive. It's subconscious. It's spirituality. And so the love that we have in our life is going to be a very deep love. And if it's not, it's going to fall away, plain and simple. I hope some of this resonated with you. I think the overall energy of the moment is change. There's a lot of change happening in the world, and even if it's going to be slow, and this change is going to be happening over years, possibly decades, but we are ushering in something entirely new on a personal and collective level. And have patience with yourself, and don't be afraid to feel into it. Let yourself grow. Much love. Namaste.